I saw that a number of us struggled with number 73 from yesterday's assignment, so I wanted to go over this question with you. So this question was that golden rectangle problem where we are using the ratio of the golden rectangle to help us find the missing side of a rectangle that they're giving us. So here's the golden rectangle ratio. It's 1 plus the square root of 5 to 2. Now in this ratio, I know that this piece of the ratio is the larger side or the longer side, and this piece of the ratio is the smaller side. So in number 73, we're comparing it to this page in the text, and in the page in the text, this 6, this is the larger side, whereas W is the smaller side. So when I go and set up my proportion, I want to make sure that I set it up the larger goes with the larger and the smaller goes with the smaller. So let's set this up. I'm going to have 1 plus the square root of 5 over 2. That's the ratio from the golden ratio. And I'm going to set it to the ratio in the sides of our text. Since 6 is the larger side, I'm going to put that with the quantity for the larger side in the golden ratio. So 6 goes up here. And then W is the smaller side. That goes with 2, which is the smaller side of the ratio. Sorry, W. Okay, now that we have our proportion, now we're going to cross multiply and solve. So when I cross multiply, and I'm going to multiply this way, I end up multiplying W times the quantity of 1 plus the square root of 5. And then I'm going to set it equal to, let's cross multiply the other way, 2 times 6 is 12. All right, now this is the equation we're going to solve for W. I do not want to distribute W into this parentheses because then I would have 2 W's, but I want to isolate the W, so let's keep the W out here. And instead, let's get rid of this 1 plus radical 5. So because this is being multiplied, let's divide both sides by 1 plus radical 5, and I can get this quantity to cancel out. Let's also divide this side by 1 plus radical 5. All right, so now if I simplify, I have W equals 12 over 1 plus the square root of 5. Now, I cannot leave my answer like this because this denominator is not rational. It has a radical in the denominator. So let's rationalize this denominator. Because this is an expression with a sum, I need to use the conjugate. Remember, the conjugate is this same expression with the opposite operation, so I need to use minus. Let's multiply the numerator and the denominator by the conjugate, which is 1 minus the square root of 5 over 1 minus the square root of 5. Now in the numerator, we are going to distribute. Let's multiply the 12 by both of these quantities. So I'm going to get 12 minus, now when I multiply 12 by radical 5, remember I'm multiplying the 12 by the 1 in the front, so I get 12 radical 5. In the denominator, we are going to use our special product. This is our sum and this is our difference. Remember, this is our A and this is our B, and the special product of A plus B times A minus B is A squared minus B squared. So that's what I'm going to put in the denominator here. I'm going to have 1 squared minus the square root of 5 squared. Okay, let's simplify. The numerator, I cannot do anything with this. This is going to stay 12 minus 12 square root of 5. In the denominator, we're going to simplify. 1 squared is 1 minus the square root of 5 squared. Remember, the square and the square root cancel each other out, so I'm left with 5. Let's subtract in the denominator. 12 minus 12 radical 5, that stays the same. I cannot combine these together. This second term has a radical 5 and this first term does not. So because they don't have the same radical, they're not like terms, they have to stay separate. In the denominator, let's subtract. 1 minus 5 gives me negative 4. Now I can simplify this one more step, is I can reduce all of these numbers outside. Since the 12 and the negative 12 are both divisible by negative 4, let's divide both of these numbers here by negative 4. So when I divide both of these numbers, I'm going to get negative 3, and then this becomes positive 3 radical 5. And I can leave my answer like this, or I can approximate it. I can round it to the nearest hundredth. So I can put this into my calculator. Let's put in -3 plus 3 times the square root of 5. And I get approximately 3.71, and our unit is inches.